Welcome, Star Family. I don't know if I've ever said this before, but I believe this may be the most important reading I've ever done. And I've done a lot over many moons. And if you're new here, welcome to this spiritual guidance channel. I am the magical medium. I work with spirit very closely as a channel, a medium. I have all the clairs. I'm a telepath. I have a lot of unique gifts that I just assumed everybody had that was like me until I started working with a lot of different light workers and shamans and finding out that I had something very special to bring to the world. And so I am still myself figuring that out day by day. I am not infallible, right? Or is that those are the two I always get mixed up. Is it fallible or infallible? Meaning like I'm not perfect and I don't try to be perfect. I want you to see me for what I am. What you see is what you get. And I feel like this reading is really important because it's time for everyone to live like me. And I've had many people over the years say to me, I wish I could be like you. I wish I could just like say it like it is, or just, and I'm like, why can't you? Like, I was always like kind of baffled by that. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I don't like, why can't you? They're like, I can't. Like, I don't want to deal with, like they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with the drama. They don't want to argue. They want to stay quiet and, reserved. And they don't want to mix things up or cause chaos or drama or whatever because of things that were told to them, X, Y, and Z, maybe things they witnessed when people spoke up, they were chastised or, and a lot of it, which is healers and deep down believers, my magicians, my magical people that are here on this channel. If you found your way here, if you've never read the About section, go and check it out. Spirit has me kind of change it up and change it around all the time. But, there's a little message there from Spirit for all of us, and if you have found your way to this channel, it's because you have very, very, very special gifts. You are a very, very, very special light worker. I'm not for everybody. Yeah, it's been really cool to watch our channel grow. And it's for me, I'm not going to lie, some of it, it's ego because you're like, well, thank God, I thought I was doing this in vain, But then the other part of it is like, no, it's exciting because it tells me that we're growing in numbers. Because even if somebody just like half-ass subscribes and they're not even like watching these, like, but they're like, oh, I like that short. Oh, I like them. I'm going to subscribe to them, whatever it is, it's okay because they are holding a place for those of you who watch these readings incognito that don't want to be seen, that aren't ready to come out yet, like in whatever way, shape, or form, I love that scene in Practical Magic where they're like, Sally's coming out, where she's coming out as a witch because she's always denied her gifts and her heritage. And she's like, I just want to be normal. Leave me alone. I don't want to fucking have these gifts. I just want to be quote unquote normal. Well, you know what? Spirit wouldn't have brought you here. You wouldn't have brought yourself here, right? Because this is your own game. This is your own avatar. This is your own. You chose everything from your birth chart to the people you were going to interact with, the people that would bring you lessons. You chose these people. And sometimes that's really hard to believe, but it's true. In my experience, now everybody has their own thing, but in my experience working as someone who connects to things that other people can't see, hear, or feel, and have done so since I can remember, I always knew I was different. And I remember the first time I saw this movie, it's with Robert Downey Jr. I always forget the name of it, but anyway, and then Heart and Soul. Thank you, Spirit. It's called Heart and Soul. And if you've never seen it, I highly suggest you seek it out. Robert Downey Jr. is really, really young. This was like back in his like, really bad hardcore drug days. Like, he was kind of a shit show. I actually had the pleasure of meeting him when he was at that stage, but I had the additional pleasure of meeting him with his son. I think his son's name was Dakota. It was something like that, or like Arizona, or you know what I mean? But anyway, I just remember him saying his name when I was waiting on them, and he was the kindest, most gentle soul. We had this really cool connection, but I saw how broken he was. And at the time, I didn't really know exactly what I was or what I was doing yet. I wasn't 100% sure. I just knew I was different. I knew I was special. I ended up like really like finding out more about my gifts as a witch at the following job. But at that job, that's when I worked at Planet Hollywood in Beverly Hills, and it was just such a surreal experience getting to know these celebrities like on a very intimate, personal level, when I had never, I only saw them in movies or magazines or TV shows or whatever, but I never like, then after a while, after you meet hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them, you just are like, they're just fucking people, and they just live there and work there, and it's just normal. And but it's just been really cool to watch what's happening on the planet right now, and look at Robert Downey Jr. Like, look at his resilience. Look at how he like came back from that. He was on the brink of death so many times. He was such a hardcore addict. And anyway, long story short, I feel like this Saturn and Pisces, these next 3 years are going to be something so prolific and so legendary that we like, I mean, I didn't even put this together till now. I love you so much right now, Spirit. I said, are we gonna, these are the spirit animal medicine cards. So there's, so I thought we were gonna show them, until they brought in the oils. And let me just tell you, this isn't a plug for doTERRA 613, but actually all I saw was 13. So I'm going to say 13 is our angel number, which is also the number of the divine goddess. But the reason why these came in, I do a lot of trade for spirit work because I have so many people in my circle who do what I do. Sometimes it feels weird to give each other money. Not in like a, that we don't deserve it. It's more like, hey, I have this, you need this. I mean, I can give you money and you can pay for it, but like, you know what I mean? She's like, so like one of our tribe members, Jules, very, very high up in the doTERRA world, sends me essential oils. And now I barely even order anymore. She just sends me what spirit feels I should have. And it's always on the money, man. It's like dead on the money. So I have so many oils. I can't even tell you guys, from single notes to blends to whatever. But yesterday I was really pulled to go into my stash. And these are the 4 that came out. So what I was going to say is, the reason why they don't want you to choose from the spirit animals is because they want you to choose from the oils. But the reason why they wanted the lightning bolt is that's the other side of the card. And it's like, think of the superheroes when they have the lightning bolt on their chest. It's like, that's what spirit wants you to start looking at yourself as, a superhero that came here to help the world. You really did. This is no bullshit. So if you didn't watch the full moon in Virgo meets Saturn in Pisces reading for the tribe, I highly recommend you go check it out. It's in the moon phase readings. This is a surprise reading because I don't do these all the time. Most of the time I stick to the moon cycle readings, but whenever there's a significant transition. Oh, thank you, Nuthatch. The Nuthatch just came to visit. Hello, sweet bird. Oh, the Nuthatch is going to be okay. So that's our homework there too, is for all of us to look up the Nuthatch bird spirit medicine. So that will be another animal for us to work with. Okay, they've been all over, and I accidentally, well, I didn't accidentally. I bought the popcorn. I love to make popcorn in a pot at home, like old school. We live off the grid, so I make it. I love it. It's so good that way, and it gives the popcorn a natural. If I can push you to do one thing over this next cycle, is to stop using microwaves. Period. Okay. They do put energy into your food and kill the nutrients in your food. And microwave popcorn, I know this for a fact from a friend of mine who used to work for a company, and they said that they use a type of chemical in the microwave popcorn to make it pop like that. And they are actually, or if it's, I don't know if it's a chemical in the oil or if it's something inside the popcorn bag, like, something that magnifies it or whatever. Just basically, it's not good. So stop eating microwave popcorn. It's really fucking dangerous. They have been slowly killing us. When I say they, I mean they have been slowly killing us and trying to stop us from turning the planet into what it was always meant to be. They are those who came here and came as destroyers, who came and, as wolves in sheep clothing, whether it's, dominating lands or, I remember one time I was getting really upset about what happened to the Native American culture. And I was talking to my mom about it. And my mom got more upset at me and said, every single continent every country has done something like that. She's like, everybody, it's the survival of the fittest. And it was the way she said it, like she'd get irritated. And I said, I understand what you're saying, Mom. I'm like, but what I'm saying is that, like, in my lifetime, my ancestors come from that. So I can feel it. I can feel it imprinted in my DNA. I don't know how to explain it. My mom would be like, oh, phooey. Like, she'd say things like, that's bullshit. And I'm like, well, that's what you believe, and this is what I believe. And I had to stop talking to my family and friends because I got tired of it. There wasn't a conversation about it. It was, even though I've been like this, I'm 51 now, but I moved to LA when I was 23. And when I moved to LA in 1995, people were recycling then. It was different. And every time I'd come back, I would work with these celebrities, or I'd have these experiences. Then I'd go home and I'd visit my friends and my family, and I would tell them of the tales, right? Like, I'd go back to my blood and bone and I would tell them of the tales of the things that happened to me. But that's what they thought they were, just tales. Because in their mind, LA and California was the land of fruits and nuts, all this judgment. My family, very right-wing Republican, Christian, biblical, one side diehard Catholic, one side diehard Southern Baptist, fucking do the spiritual math. Growing up like that, I was not revered. I was feared. And stylecaster.com always has really great astrology forecasts. I'm drawn to them so much. I put a link in that full moon meets Saturn in Pisces reading. It's in the comment section and in the description box. So if you're interested, you can go check it out. But there is just something really magical that's happening on the planet right now. And we are all waking up on a different level. And this isn't about being quote unquote woke, because there's like this, oh, I'm woke. Like, you're okay, but you have to do the work. You may be woke and understand that things are happening on the planet, but there's a much deeper understanding that's happening. The Lemurians are here. When I went to start this reading, my phone was at like 12, 12, 12 in different variations. It was like 12:48 and my phone was at like 75% or something like that. You know what I mean? And when I saw that, all I saw, though, because as working with numerology and angel numbers and as a medium, all I saw across the board was 12, 12, 12. And then I got this download from Spirit that the Lemurians like really, really like came to play on the 12, 12, 12 portal. You guys remember that? So I feel like by the end of this year on the 12/12 portal, even though it's going to be the 12/12/23, I feel like something really magical and divine is going to happen. And also, if they pull me to Braca, just put out a Saturn in Pisces or Saturn return. I forget how she titled it, so don't judge me, or don't judge me. Don't say I'm paraphrasing. But long story short, Braca, who I talk about and speak about very fondly and kindly often, is my astrologer of choice that I just align with the most. And if you are into astrology or you're wanting to learn more about astrology, she has free stuff on her free courses on her social media, but then she also has other forums that you can like deeper knowledge and teachings of astrology, and her price points are like really low. Like, she's so gracious. Probably because she has like almost 500,000 followers on YouTube. She's got quite a following. She's written books and things like that. So it's not about the money so much. She wants everyone to be able to enjoy it, but she needs to be able to survive as well. So I love Braca. She lives in Greece, and we've all been put on Earth in different places like push pins. She kept trying to like make a life in New Zealand, and it wasn't working for her. And she got pulled back to Greece, and I don't know what her plans are. But I kept seeing her in a tropical place, and I told her that. And I'm like, I don't know if it's Greece. I don't know. I'm like, but I see you more in like a tropical place, but not New Zealand. And it was really rare that I ever like offer advice like that to anybody if it's not warranted. But it was like, I'm like, I feel compelled to tell you this as a medium. That's like one of the first things I ever wrote to her. And now it's really awesome because whenever she's doing lives, we tend to like, she'll call me out. Sometimes she'll call me out like 3 times. And I just take that as like the greatest honor. And I'm not saying that to like throw my ego around. I'm just telling you, like, that's when I really know that like I'm meant to like walk with her. Like, she's my shaman, she's my teacher. And also that I'm meant to bring her medicine back to you, because that's all we are. We're just linked together. We are one. We are all the same. And bringing back to choosing your spirit animal, this is what this reading is for, is to align with the energies. This is kind of like, I always say to people, I don't really look at myself as a forecaster once in a blue moon, Spirit will give me a timeline, or will give me, you know, like that. Like I just told you, like they showed me 12, 12, 12, you know. But other times it's like, no, this is just for your information and FYI, so to speak, kind of thing, if that makes any sense. I kind of diverted from that because there's a lot of different energies pulling me in different ways. There's a lot to be said, and I'm going to speak about them in each pile. But this is basically like the energies that want to hold your hand during the next 3 years in this Saturn and Pisces. Okay. And I don't know, everyone keeps talking about the Saturn return. So I don't know 100% what that means. I'm not an astrologer. I'm learning myself. So please feel free to comment and talk about that. Speak about it in the comments if you are an astrologer. But I kind of skipped around on the last one. Like Spirit had me watch Braca's, the one she did today in real time. Today is March 7th, 2023. And it is the full moon in Virgo. So blessed full moon in Virgo, and also the beginning and the first day of Saturn fully going into Pisces. So it's the one that Braca put out today. She had a live. I wanted to go live, but I'm telling you, you guys, I already, oh, did you see that Spirit come through there? Oh my gosh. I am already feeling the effects of this Saturn and Pisces, because I literally don't know how to explain it in any other way but to tell you that, like, I have never felt, that I can recall in my memory, I can never remember feeling this calm on a full moon, even though Virgos can tend to have very calm energy. You know, I've known all different Virgos, and you know what I mean? It's like, and I know the Virgo energy, but there's something that's happening between the full moon in Virgo and the Saturn and Pisces. Part of it too is that, I'm going to bring my book out really quick. Let me get my glasses on. Because the full moon went into Virgo this morning in real time at 8:35 a.m. Eastern Standard. Oh, excuse me. No, back it up. The full moon in Virgo hit its peak, its pivotal moment at 7:40 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States. Okay. Then Saturn entered Pisces at exactly 8:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So to me, I think it's so cool. It's like the full moon in Virgo got to stand in her light for a moment in that beautiful energy. It's like the hermit. I almost felt like the hermit of Virgo got to be in its moment, you know, for less than an hour, because it was 7:40 when it was at its pinnacle, and then Saturn entered Pisces at 8:35 a.m. It's almost like Saturn was like coming in, but was like, let's give Virgo their little shining moment, you know. Really powerful. Those are the things that I look at, like underneath the surface. Even the fact that it's the worm moon, right? Because the worm moon, the reason why the Native American culture calls it the worm moon is it's when the worms would start to come out of their deep freeze of winter, right? They'd come out of the thaw, they're breaking free through the soil. They're having a re-emergence. And I feel like the Saturn in Pisces over the next 3 years is the biggest gift we can ever ask for, because it's going to be the re-emergence of who we are. We are really going to shed that skin. We'll probably see a lot of like snake or like energies that like shed their skin. I saw this video that's going viral right now about this guy who had this, I forget which kind of spider. It's not a wolf spider. I know it's not. But it's a really popular spider in Australia. It's not venomous, it's not harmful, but it is a big one. And it's, you know, if you don't like spiders, they're pretty fucking scary. And this guy wasn't sure what was happening, if it was the two spiders were fighting each other or if they were like mating. He's like, I don't know, I don't want to get too close. He was trying to zoom in on his phone. He went to get in his car and it was hanging from his fucking visor in his driver's seat. I mean, but to me, like, how cool. And he put it out into the universe because I saw it and now I'm telling you. And this is, you know what I'm saying? It really does show you how connected we are. Somebody in Australia, and we do have tribe members who are from down under, right? We have Southern Hemisphere tribe members. We have Northern Hemisphere tribe members, mostly Northern, but we're getting more Southern, which is really exciting. But come to find out, the spider was actually shedding their exoskeleton. And I mean, what a great thing to come and show us right before the Saturn in Pisces, which is exactly what they want us to do, is to really take the next 3 years to show the world who we are and get rid of that old energy. In fact, the theme, which you see now, is Broadway, Here I Come. There's a song called Broadway Here I Come from Marilyn the Musical. If you love musicals or you're musically inclined, you love acting, and you want a fun show to binge watch, please watch Marilyn. I think it's just called Marilyn, but it was a TV show. It didn't last very long. I think it could have gone further, but whatever. It served its purpose. And it's the story, it's about making the musical of Marilyn Monroe. They're like, how come nobody's tackled this yet, you know? But it was like so they decided to turn it into a TV show, and just really, really cool. They used real Broadway, quote unquote, real Broadway people, actors. Catherine McPhee, who was on American Idol, played one of the leads. I forget the name of the other Marilyn. She was from Broadway. And just these really, oh, Tilly, or gosh, I can't think of her name. Anyway, there's a whole story with that too, that like I'm even linked to her. The girl, the other young beautiful woman who played the other Marilyn, her sister was, and her sister and her sister's family were in a plane that crashed and into the water close to where I live in the Puget Sound in the Northwest, in Washington. I'm on the Olympic Peninsula. I'm on the Strait of Juan de Fuca. And they literally like found like one of her family's body parts like right by my house. I mean, talk about like, I know that was kind of eerie and creepy, but also just to show you like how like psychotically connected we are, even in the dark, even in something so horrific that like, oh my gosh, that beautiful soul lived through something like that. Like, you know, and how, you know, and I remember when I heard about it, we had gone down to the water shortly after. And I had said to my husband, we were looking at the water, and I go, wow, I go like, we could find a body part right now. I'm like, that's so like wild. Like what a world we are in, that things happen like that, that now we are also connected. We've always been connected, but now like I know of that story from social media. Like I wouldn't have known about that, or it was actually a headline in my local paper. And that's where I saw it. But then I was like, wow, I'm like, I know her. Megan Hilty, I think that's her name. Thank you, Spirit. I'm almost positive that's her name now that they said it to me. But what a bizarre thing. But anyway, so tragedies happen, shit happens. And that, oh, thank you, Spirit. They're segueing into when I was watching that episode today from Braca, she was talking about the pandemic and how it was the greatest gift. And I'm like, I've been feeling that from Spirit too, that it really has been the greatest gift. And yes, people died. And yes, people suffered. We spoke about this in the reading yesterday in the Full Moon in Virgo meets Saturn and Pisces reading. And 2221, by the way, which is also the number 7. And that's a number that's been coming up for us a lot lately. But what I'm getting from Spirit is that the profound connection that we have with each other was really explored through the pandemic. And also what happened in the pandemic is people were like, I don't want to do this anymore. Or I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like when they were made to stay home and like not have to get ready every time and not go and get that coffee and not, you know what I mean? Like life changed and it was hard, but it also showed people like we had just gotten so used to like just waste and gluttony and instant gratification. And we had to be retaught again that sometimes we have to wait. And sometimes the beauty of going in the flow of spirit is exactly what we need. So that leads me back to the reading again. So from left to right, also Spirit had me wear green today to remind us to stay in our heart chakra during this, okay? So from my left to right, we have reading 1, Rosemary, reading 2, Clary Sage, reading 3, Lemon, and reading 4, Spearmint. Now, each one of these has a spiritual meaning. You may already know it, and that's why you were drawn to it. You may not know, and Spirit is saying, use your intuition, because I will speak about it in each individual reading. I will speak about it, of course, because it's basically, if you know what it means, it's like the definition of that reading. So, but there's other definitions that'll come with it. So you may be drawn to all 4 of them, but these are the spirit animals and the energies that want to walk with you during the Saturn and Pisces movement, because that's exactly what it's going to feel like, a movement. The world is going to change dramatically over the next 3 years. It cannot help itself. Saturn doesn't fuck around. And the 3 key words that I got from Spirit for Saturn were discipline, karma, and boundaries. And it was in the Stylecaster as well. That stylecaster.com article that I spoke of. And even though I had my own, notes that I've taken on Saturn, and I can go into all the other, meanings of it. If you're really interested in it, go back and watch that full moon in Virgo meets Saturn in Pisces. It's the first reading I've done where it's like we almost barely spoke about the full moon in Virgo, only because the full moon in Virgo has so many similarities to the Saturn in Pisces energy. So I got from spirit, it's like the Pisces energy is about spirituality, being open hearted, the nostalgia of it all, right? But it's also about intuition and water. And Braca spoke about water too. So we're going to be seeing a lot of submerging of ideas into our dream space so that we can pull them out of the water. We're going to be Braca is forecasting things being pulled out of the water. The way the Lemurians have been coming back to me like crazy. And then even one of our tribe members, Zoe, gave me this Lemurian starseed crystal, and I said to her, I'm like, that's so funny. And she's like, why? Because we love to trade gifts with each other. And I said, every time I've had a Lemurian starseed crystal, I would work with it for a little while and then it would disappear, or spirit would, ask me to give it to someone else. So when she gave me this one, and then I started hearing all this reemergence of the Lemurians, I was like, holy shit. And I got the vibe that I'm meant to go to Mount Shasta this year. So, or maybe in the next 3 years. I don't know. Just a lot of things just in the last 24 hours. And also, can I also mention that not only have I been calm during the full moon, but I rarely sleep during a full moon. Like, usually I don't go to bed till like 3 or 4 in the morning. And then like I'll sleep the next day until like 11 or 12. And it's just like, kind of like in this, weird space. Last night, I could barely keep my eyes open at midnight. I was really pulled to make moon water and bless, I put these oils out. These oils right now sat in the full moon and Virgo energy, but also with the rising sun of the Saturn and Pisces. I wanted all of that to be in there. The cards, everything that I was like, this was, I don't know, there was just something so spiritual about this. And even though they're talking about Ostara portal and the angelic portal on March 20th, I feel like this is kind of like the entry, like this is the appetizer, so to speak. Oh gosh, I forget if it comes, it'll come, but there's the French say it. But anyway, right, like this little entryway into that. And I feel like spirit is saying, as long as you keep working with these energies over the Saturn and Pisces, you'll be okay. And also, we need to talk about what's happening with the mutable signs, because we have a lot of them in our tribe. So Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, and Sagittarius, those 4 signs are going to have the toughest time during this next 3 years if you choose to make it tough. It doesn't have to be. These could also be the years, those 4 signs, where you will be the luckiest. Because if you actually utilize the energy during this time, during everything from the Mercury retrogrades that suck ass sometimes, but also show us and give us so much, to the eclipse seasons, every fucking for the next 3 years. If you really like pay attention to astrology, work with the energy, get out of those jobs that don't work with you, get away from those people who are holding you back, If you move to those locations you've always wanted to live, are you miserable in the winter? You want to live in a tropical place? Move there. This is the time that spirit will support you. Look for the signs. Don't be hasty though. This is also the time of shutting old doors to the past, endings, forgiveness, moving on. A chapter reaching completion. It's not an accident that it's in Pisces, which is the 12th house, which is the last house of the zodiac. So it could have just as easily come in during, the beginning of Aries season, but it wasn't. It's coming in at the end of 2022. Technically, even though we're in 2023, it's also like the end of that astrological 2022, and even 2021, right? Like if you look at it that way, right? 2021, 22, 23. It's like there's a lot of things we need to wrap up in these years so that we can, take them with us. And by the time February 13th, 2026, which is no accident. I forgot to look on my camera or to look on the calendar. I don't think this calendar goes that far. So, I don't know what day that's going to fall on. And I feel like I need to do a shorts about it. So look out for that. But I was like, I will be so excited if that falls on a Friday the 13th, because 13th is a number of the goddess. And it's not an accident that tomorrow is International Women's Day. And it's not an accident that International Women's Day is on March 8th. Or it's not an accident that in the full moon and Virgo, Saturn meets Pisces, whatever reading that I did, the first card that we pulled, I'm just giving you a little spoiler alert. We pulled more, but the first one we pulled was the Otter, which is the medicine woman. And the card number is 8. These aren't accidents. The divine feminine energy is rising and coming up out of the water. You know, one of the things Braca said today in that episode was, she said 71% of the earth is water. And I was like, and I'm born in 1971, right? And it's just like hit me, because I always say to people the earth is 70% water, but I never said 71. I always say, you know, they say the earth is 70% water. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of things. There's a lot of companies that she was speaking about. They're going to be dragging things out of the water. And there's gonna be more exploration. Like, how come we haven't explored the waters more, right? Like, because there's a lot of shit hidden down there. It's almost like we're the surface dwellers, right? And like, we've got inner earth and like the fairies and the elves and like all that kind of energy. If you look at it like it's like a sphere and real, whatever, because it's imaginary, right? But it's real to us, and we've made it real. And the third dimensional energy of earth is real. Like, it's like, if I'm touching this, like I can pick this up, I can pick these up, you know what I mean? I can move them, right? But there's also superhero magic all on the surface of the earth. But it's just been pushed away and said, no, 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 13's a bad number. No, women are horrible. They're just, you know, whores and breeders, you know, blah, blah, all this fucking gross patriarchal bullshit that we're like, nope, sorry. That's all going to change in the next 3 years. Marianne Williamson just cast her vote again. I'm not into all that, like that kind of like spiritual whatever. Like, if that's up, I'm not going to say anything. If you love her, that's cool. I'm not into that. Like, that's not me. But at the same time, I'm so fucking happy she threw her hat into the ring, right? It's going to get real, and it's going to get serious. The next election in the United States is going to be so massive. Now, every single country has their own, like, yeah, an election can change everything. We see that all the time. There's still, you know, God bless Ukraine, right? But even that is on a big scale, because it's like, no, nobody's going to fucking help you. Like, that's fucked up. Like, why are you picking on them? Like, let them be who they are. You don't get to come and take them over. It's like, I feel like on that continent, it's like Russia is kind of like, you know, the US. It's like, that's why they're tied in the politics. And I don't want to get too into politics and all that bullshit, because that's not what this is about. But that shit is definitely fucking going to come up. It's all going to come up. A lot of things are going to be revealed. A lot of things are going to be revealed. So stay strong, I've been telling you guys, we're on the other side of the light. It just doesn't seem like it, because they want us to be scared. They, you know, and when the earthquakes are happening, they're happening for a reason. Earth is shifting. She's changing. She is an organism. Gaia is an entity of her own, and she allows us to live here. And she's like, listen, bitches, you fucking want to keep doing that shit? I will change everything, right? And so we're going to see a lot of things changing and happening because of the fact that the chemicals are no longer allowed, right? We're going to start, you know, things are going to be illegal. And people, like Braca said in that episode, people are going to be held accountable. Companies, she brought up Pfizer, all these fucking companies, they're going to be held accountable. These fake drugs, these fake, you know, quote unquote healing processes, they're not real, you guys. So I'm about to run out of time. Spirit gave me a short amount of time to work through this, to show you which one to choose. So with that being said, which energy are you drawn to? Are you drawn to the rosemary, the clary sage, the lemon, the spearmint? Are you drawn to all of them? And if you are, then take pride and energy and hope and love with you, because Spirit has got your back, babes. And they're saying walk with these energies and these entities, and you'll be okay. Until next